Hey, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. There's a lot to go through in this video because this is a super stuffed junk journal. I've been doing a lot of reflecting the last few weeks with the tariffs coming into play starting next week. And I just feel so bad that all of my American friends have to pay so much more for products that come in from out of their country. So I've added some extra presents to this and I've overstuffed it, and I hope that will help pay for some of that, or make a difference for some of the extra funds that you have to get taxed on. So this is a book from pre-1920. It's called The Heart of the Sunset. And what I did is I've actually had this antique postcard here from 1910 for years. I love it. And it's never really gone with any of the junk journals I've been making. And because it's a sunset, this was perfect. What I did is I've got a little gold tone chain here, and if it's real gold, please don't tell me. I can't tell what is and isn't real gold. And some matching ribbons. I've got some trim to match the postcard. And I've used these 1940s gold photo corners that you can take the postcard out of. And I've just made a nice little cluster behind there, all antique papers. And then this is the beautiful postcard here from 1910 from a brother to a sister in Bayshore, New York. Isn't that stunning? And it says here, Cape May, New Jersey. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm just gonna leave that aside here. And let's go through this before I put it in my Etsy shop. So, and all of the tariffs are paid. So when you see the price in my Etsy shop, that I have paid the tariff on your behalf. You don't have to worry about that when it arrives. So this here is a book plate, and it came from this vintage box of book plates. They look brand new, but they're very old. So that's kind of fun. So you can put your name on there and claim your junk journal as your own. These are the original first pages of the book. This is from an antique book, and I love the chapter. It's called Happy Delights. So I found this other one here, and because it's horizontal, I can't use it on book covers because it's too wide. But look at how pretty that is. So you get two sunset postcards in this. And this one is also probably from about the 1920s, maybe earlier. And over here, again, it's 1915, the publication date on here, the original first page. And what I love, did I skip over it, is this one here under its original onion skin paper. Look at that, the original first plate of the book. Of course, there's that gorgeous sunset in the back there as well. I love it. Okay, so let's get into the actual pages of the junk journal that I've added. I've got a vintage receipt here. This is a really fun vintage piece. These are collectible cards, and children would buy the books, and as they collected them, they would put them into the book and hope to collect them all. Here's another piece here from 1927. It looked like a sunrise or set to me, so I added that in as a pocket. This is from 1904. I just love the color of that paper so much. So lots of journaling space here. I didn't cover it, so you would have that. Vintage cookbook page here. And this is from 1905, How to Grow Flowers. Or sorry, How to Grow Roses. And look at this stunning photography here. Probably colored in a different way, but I just love it. That's from a vintage book. This is from early 1900s. That is Quebec City, Chateau Frontenac. Beautiful hotel now. This is from 1938, Snow White paint and color book. So this page here, a child has colored. And then over here, we've got a painted one. Look at the little cottage there. Oh, that should have been in my cottage journal. Anyway, it's here now. It lives here forever. And I have got this wonderful calendar page from a pharmacy. This would have been promotional November 1961. Love the huge font on there. Just fabulous. Fun little cluster down here. And then over here, I've got a tag that I made out of antique paper to journal on the back of. And then this is a vintage Wildflowers of America page here. And coming up very soon is a present you get with this journal. You'll see. It's pretty cool. This is a little piece of Monopoly money, and you can journal on both sides of that. I love that 1927 hand lotion advertisement there. And this is an early 1900s postcard as well. And that is going to some wonderful person in Massachusetts. And that is from Quebec. And this here, look how fun this is. Whoops, I'm grabbing the wrong page. Bizarre recipes. Not that they're weird bizarre, but like a church bazaar or a community bazaar. All the different kinds of cookies and things that you could make for a bake sale or bazaar. Is that wonderful? I actually took a picture of some of those. And then this is from a 1960s Funny Bones game. That's just fun. And this is from a 1940s transfer. And look at how pretty that is. You would have ironed that onto your tea towels or pillowcases and then embroidered on top of that. Now here's where the present comes in. What do you think the present might be? Look at this. It is stunning, from 1933, the advertisement for these quill tip filled pens and the corresponding ink. Look at that. And then we've got wonderful advertisements over here. Just wonderful, almost 100 years old. Look at the Gerber baby, 1933. So here is the wonderful pen, and I love this because first of all, it's very worn. It's got some gold paint up here that somebody may have stirred some paint with it. It's a little warped, but it's got its quill on there, ready to be dipped in ink. And I believe, I can't quite read it here, but I think it's made in Czechoslovakia, which is that even a country anymore? I don't need to be ignorant, but I'm not sure if it's still called that. So isn't that fun? That's the original interior spine of the book. Yay! And then this is just a really fun little journaling page I made out of a vintage children's book page. And there's that burnt paper, too close to the fireplace or lantern. It's a beautiful piece of vintage doily. And I've got one of these 100-year-old pieces of non-twist tape, and it's made in England. So you can use that. Oh, I just love that number 8 and the building here. It's just fabulous. You can use this on a cluster. You can unravel that and use it in your junk journals. And then this here is from the 1840s. Look at this. It's almost like tissue. It's so beautifully thin. But I just love this poem here, Love and Life. It made me very happy. So I wanted to share that. And then over here, this is 1904 from Freckles. Antique paper flower, 1955. Stamp collector's page. And then, of course, I just love these 1932 Paris, France almanac pages here. Just really super fun to translate in Google Translate and find out what their humor and satire was like. And here's another one of these wonderful old but new vintage linen hankies. And this one, of course, was never purchased, but it's from the 60s. So definitely vintage. And that is from 1956, little My Book House illustration, little girl climbing the tree there. And this is antique receipt, transit ticket from England. And I made it into a little pocket. And it's got one of these wonderful milk tabs that you would have put in your milk bottle to let the milkman know when he picked up the empty bottle to bring back whatever it was you put the ticket in for. And in this pocket is another wonderful 1940s Theatre World magazine pages. It just got great advertisements for different theaters around America and sometimes around the world, but mostly America there. And here's another Birds of America. Wow, look at that vintage page there. Or sorry, Birds of North America. Look at these are the waxwings, and I just love them. I love, we have cedar waxwings up here. And it's a big deal when we spot them. Big deal. Antique paper there for extra journaling space. There's just a great little vintage pull-out piece there. Fun cluster. I know I'm only halfway through, so stick with me. It gets better. It just keeps getting better. This is for my American friends. This is from 1976. Celebrate the bicentennial. Look at that. You've got your 200th coming up next year. So that's a pretty special piece there. And then that is on top of a shorthand workbook page, 100 years old, vintage Trees of America book page here. And then this is another fun antique page that I turned into a journaling card, 1960s payday card, and an early 1900s handwritten thesis paper. Rock garden, that is botanical. And I was going to cover this up with some things, but I'm going to leave that to the new owner because it's so pretty and so colorful. It is from the early 70s, so it is vintage, but you can do whatever you like with that page. This is a piece of an envelope from 1935. And just another really beautiful vintage page. Look at this little bird cage here that girl was showing her papa. And then we've got some good journaling space there as well. This is a 100-year-old page here from Alice in Wonderland, and a handwritten research paper page there. More vintage botanicals. This is cool. This was just in the back of an antique book. And I just love when you have writing. I try to imagine the person that was making the notes in the book to try to remember them, or maybe they were studying for a test. This came out of that 1930 honeymoon scrapbook, and I believe this is Cape Cod. Little cottage there on the beach. Look at these teeny tiny little photographs that this woman cut up to make this little page. I just think that's adorable. Pretty cool, and you can journal on the back of that as well. And then there's more. I know, that came from 1927, just a really cool book page image. This is vintage here, the Blue Jays up here. And I love this, happy birthday. That is from, obviously, a children's book. This is from 1850s. You've seen me use these recently, these school architecture book. And look at these gorgeous, how to make these school benches and school desks and chairs. Oh my gosh, I love it. Short and Bread, that is an antique music sheet. Mama's little baby loves short and little baby loves short and bread. We used to sing that, obviously. And this is another one of these wonderful 1950s Theater World magazine pages. And I just love the advertisements of the plays that are on at the time. And this is from 1887. Chatterbox. Look at this. I love this little tiny box down here that has the little angel in it in the snow, cut out away from the actual landscape picture here. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is another vintage Animals of America page. We've got the armadillo on one side, and we've got a pronghorns on the other. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. You can check this out at hyperstamper.etsy.com. And if you have any questions, if you're outside of America and you want to purchase a journal, please email me. My email is below in the comment section. And because the price can be reduced because you don't have to pay tariffs. So come back soon. Bye for now.